Okay, so now that we have actually talked about what factors determine how you rank in Google and whether you're showing up in search, and we've looked at 10 strategies that we are going to employ, it's time to get started on those strategies. But first, we have to actually decide which keywords, which search terms we actually want to show up for in Google. Because until we know that, we can't really work on anything. So that is the purpose of this video. Now, without further ado, let's hop over, and I'm going to show you one free tool, one paid tool to find keywords, and then I'm also going to give you a list that I've pre-researched on keywords that I think you should probably be targeting already, okay? So the first tool that we're going to look at is Ubersuggest. You can head to neilpatel.com/Ubersuggest. It's absolutely free, which is amazing, and that is why I'm giving it to you first. What you're going to do is search for your location and then whatever service you provide. So let's say I'm a San Diego wedding photographer. Type that in there, hit search, and what Ubersuggest is going to do, it's going to pull up the amount of searches that happen within that particular search term. It's going to pull up some keyword suggestions, as well as how hard or difficult it would be to rank for that term, and how much competition you have for paid rankings. So in this particular case, it looks like San Diego wedding photographer, go figure, is showing up as pretty easy to rank for overall, which is good. Paid difficulty, it looks like a lot of people are already paying to rank for this term, so it's going to be medium. And as we scroll down, we can see how many searches there are for this particular term. And in my experience, this metric is a little bit out. So if I were to type in the hometown that I'm from, so I put in Kelowna wedding photographer instead, and I search right there, it's going to pull up SEO difficulty. Interesting is slightly harder than San Diego, but paid difficulty, no one is paying for paid ads. However, the search volume is only at 10 searches per month, and that's just not accurate. I know that because I already rank for this term, and I have probably 200 visits per day just from the different terms that I rank for. So I know it's higher than 10 searches per month. So don't feel like if your term isn't searching that much that is actually accurate. It's not. But when you scroll down here, you have some keyword ideas based on what people search for surrounding that keyword. So we have Kelowna wedding photographer, photographers, photography prices, photography, photographer in your city, wedding photographer in your city. And so we can view all keyword ideas here. And you can look at the different keywords as well as who is actually ranking. So right at the top is my website right now. It has the estimated visits from this particular term. Again, that's not correct. It's definitely higher than that. Number of social shares and domain score. So this can be really helpful. So the higher this number is, it's based, I think, out of 100. 100 being some website like Google or Facebook or Pinterest, a huge website. 1 being a brand new site with no backlinks, no authority in Google's eyes. So this can be helpful to see, okay, how much competition it takes. And what's interesting is Adrian photographers actually have a domain score of only 6, and yet they're ranking number 2 for this term. So this can be super helpful actually, because what we're going to do is grab their URL, and we're going to head to a free backlink checker by Ahrefs, and we're going to see why it is that they're ranking and kind of figure out what we can do to basically copy what's working, right? So we're going to grab their URL, put it in ahrefs.com/backlink checker. It's a free tool which will tell us who is linking to their site. Remember, backlinks is a big contributor to how you rank. We're going to type this in here. They've got a domain rating of 12, only 130 backlinks, and 49 referring domains. So we can go through here, and what's really cool is it shows us exactly who is linking to them. And this can be very helpful because some of these sites, we can then go and say, okay, all I have to do is get a link on this site, and I am one step closer to ranking the same way that they are. So you can go through and find links. Some of them are going to be very easy to replicate. For instance, if it's a listing on a directory somewhere, you could very easily sign up for that. Some of them are going to be harder. Maybe it's a wedding bouquets that will make you swoon. For instance, they have a link on here. I would go through, I'd go open a new tab, scroll down here, and let's just type in Adrian C. Okay, so they have a photo credit right there. So we can maybe see if we can submit to Bridebox for a future post and get a link from them. Go through and do that sort of a thing for all of these. You can also go ahead and just grab their website and take a look. See what's working and what's not. So they're ranking number 2, and I can tell you Kelowna wedding photographers is right at the very top of this tab, so they're doing that well. They're HTTPS, so they are very secure. If we scroll down here, we have photographers in Kelowna. We have Okanagan Weddings, which is kind of the area that Kelowna is in. We have Lakeside Winery Weddings, which is kind of one of the main things that happens here in Kelowna and Okanagan, BC, and worldwide. So they've listed their address here, so that's really great. Very fast page load time. And if we scroll over here to their blog, I'm sure that they have their keywords targeted in their posts as well. So, for instance, as we scroll down here, we've got Kelowna Yacht Club Wedding and Cedar Creek Wedding, and I bet you throughout all of these they're going to have different tags for the different cities surrounding that area. So you can learn a lot just by looking through your competitors or even your friends' websites just to see what's working for them and how they're managing to do it. So we've got a lot of photos in here, but at the bottom here we have all of the locations. So that's something maybe you could add to your post, right? They've added the location for getting ready, for the ceremony, for the reception. So these are all venues within Kelowna that then they can start ranking for as well. Now, one last thing we can use this tool for is just to get an idea of how many backlinks we need to start ranking. So if we go through here and we grab our Kelowna wedding photographer results, we can grab the very top result, which happens to be our website, and put that in there. Go check backlinks. I'm not a robot. And we can see that it's got 1,954 backlinks, 304 domains. So I could write that down here and go 1,900, 1950-ish, 304. And then I could go to website number 2, which was Adrian Photography. We would go through here, grab that. And I'm not going to bore you by going through this all one at a time. They've got 130 and 49. We're going to go through here once more, and we'll just grab one more. Let's say number 3, Carla Roslin. And we will go shebang, shaboom. And so if I were doing this for my website, I might go through the top 10 just out of curiosity, and then got 107 and 25. So you see a pattern here. Number 1 result, number 2 result, number 3 result. And we've got this large number, a slightly smaller number, and a slightly smaller number. And you're probably going to see that trend continue as you go. So backlinks do matter, and that's why it's so important that we build them. We're going to get started on that as soon as we have gone through and optimized our keywords and our existing content. So let's keep going. So we can view all of the different rankings, which is super helpful. Grab some keyword ideas and view by the amount of volume. So although the exact volume is not accurate on this, let's go back here to our overview. The exact volume isn't accurate, however, it does show you roughly what percentages of volume you're working for with different terms. So let's go back to San Diego and let's do family photographer this time. And you'll see our SEO difficulty is still easy, which is good. Search volume is a little low. Yes and no, again, we talked about that. But when we scroll down here to our different keyword ideas, we can see that our search volume is mainly for these top 2 inquiries, San Diego family photographer and family photographer in San Diego. So those are main ones. Now some little side categories that would still be worth targeting but aren't quite as important because the volume's not there would be, San Diego family photographer mini session here, portrait photographers, family photographer San Diego, California. So this just gives you some different ideas of keyword variations you can use. So for instance, I might have an article that targets family photographer in San Diego, but I would also throughout that article sprinkle some other keywords in here, such as San Diego family photographer mini session or portrait photographers or photographers in San Diego, California. So you're going to want to go through, find a list of keywords, and I've already done that for you. Based in my experience, what you're going to do is go through and grab your location, whatever that is, and then insert your information. So for example, if you were a photographer, these are some keywords you might want to target: your location and then the type of photography you do, and then you just narrow it down and go through all of the different variations of those kind of searches. And I'd go through and I would write down my keywords, and then I would be done. So you can take these as a suggestion, or you can do your own research. Now, one other paid tool that you can consider if you're interested is Ahrefs, and Ahrefs allows you to plug in your competitor's website. So let's say that I was wanting to be a San Diego maternity photographer, if I could type. And number 1 on this list is Yelp, and then expertise, and then the number 1 actual photographer is Christine Marie Imagery. So I'm going to grab her link, and in Ahrefs I would go through, I would enter her URL right up here, and it would actually show me all the links to her site. It would show me the keywords that she is ranking for, and I can get some ideas of what I want to target based on what she is already ranking for and targeting herself. So that's a tool. I don't need to show you the in-depth. You can pay for it. It's $7 for 7 days, and well worth it if that sounds interesting to you. Okay, so go through, create your keywords. You can download this guide, and after that we will get moving.